Get ready, boys and girls, for climate lockdowns! Yay! So you heard it here first, boys and girls in Lazoland. This lady, who somehow seems to be related to Klaus Schwab, says permanent climate lockdowns coming whether you like it or not. Now, a lot of these climate lockdowns will go pretty well over in countries that don't have that pesky Second Amendment like the United States does. Because what is a normal German going to do? What are they going to do? Protest? Maybe. They'll get beat down by the cops because the cops are paid by the state. Yada, yada, yada. So, according to Nicole Schwab, which this lady here looks like she does eats the bugs, the COVID pandemic was tremendous opportunity to test how the public would comply with the WEF's plans to usher in their Great Reset agenda. That's what it was, folks and boys and girls. It was a test bed to see how much you would comply. They found out that many people would comply if there was danger afoot. The WEF's promotion of the climate emergency narrative seeks to create a change that is not incremental to position nature at the core of the economy. Nicole Schwab made the admission in a newly unearthed video that was recorded during the WEF panel back in 2020. The WEF lists Nicole Schwab as a member of the executive committee of the WEF, who is also the co-director of Platform to Accelerate Nature-Based Solutions and 1T.org. 1T.org. The group of WEF attendees were discussing how the fake threat of an immediate emergency can be used to further advance the WEF's Great Reset plan for humanity. Quoting apparently from her, Nicole Schwab, "This crisis, COVID, has shown us that first of all, things can shift very rapidly when we put our minds to it and when we feel the immediate emergency to our livelihoods." There you go. Create the problem, offer a solution, or have a solution for a problem that hasn't been created yet. Whatever way you want to boil this egg, that's what they want. And second, that clearly the system, you mentioned it earlier, that we had before is not sustainable. Well, it is, and it's not. They can make it unsustainable while having the solution to make it sustainable. That's how they do things there, folks and boys and girls in Lazoland. They have all the solutions. You just better eat the bugs. Says, so I see it as a tremendous opportunity to really have this great reset and to use this huge flows of money to use the increased levers that policymakers have today in a way that was not possible before, to create a change that is not incremental, but that we look back and we can say this is the moment where we really started to position nature at the core of the economy. What they don't mention is that for them to do this, they need their own firearms and the monopoly of force against you and I. And there is plenty of opportunities. And this is again a mindset of actually innovation technology and a business growth can happen with a positive impact of nature, and kind of laying out some of the examples. Regenerative agriculture is, of course, a huge part of that as well. Regenerative agriculture. And one of the key reflection points here is also around engaging youth. Engaging youth. I remember back in history when there was a person in Germany that was engaging youth for a means to an end. Interesting. And one of those key reflection points also engaging youth. And for me, it's again, I come back to this shift in the mindset of restoration generation. Can we conceive ourselves as humans? You talked about new humanity. I think you mentioned it, right? Can we conceive ourselves as a restoration generation? I think that's where we need to go. I'm also hopeful that this is possible, but I think it will take a lot of will, both political will, but also in terms of business actors, to break with business as usual, but in a very conscious way, and to say we need to make very difficult choices. There are trade-offs, but this is our chance and other, as this is about risk. It's about resilience, because the shocks are going to be even worse if we don't do it now. This is, the unelected organization continues by arguing that public would do the same under the guise of reducing carbon emissions. By the way, folks, you out there in Lazaland are the carbon they want to reduce. This is titled, My Carbon, an Approach for an Inclusive and Sustainable Cities. It suggests that the same fear tactics could be used to impose further restrictions on the general public. Notice how they want to restrict your actions and your movements, but not theirs. Not theirs. No, not theirs. No. You don't restrict the WEF's actions and their movements, but we restrict yours. The subject of the piece is how to convince people to adopt personal carbon allowance programs. Again, this goes back to libertarian paternalism. First, it's the asking portion of it. Right now, they're into the nudging part. And after the nudge comes at the barrel of a gun. COVID-19 was a test of social responsibility, the article notes. It continues by commending on how a huge number of unimaginable restrictions for public health were adopted by billions of people across the world without much of a whisper. We just complied. There were numerous examples globally of maintaining social distancing, wearing masks, mass vaccinations, and acceptance of here's the most important one, other than vaccines, here's a more important one. Acceptance of contact tracing application for public health, which demonstrated the core of individual social responsibility. Now it's our responsibility to become more social. The organization goes on to cite how many people comply with lockdown mandates despite overwhelming evidence of harmful consequences such as restrictions had on society. WF then implies that the public would behave in a similarly obsequious manner in other areas of life. Yes, folks. They know now that you out there are going to comply whether you like it or not. That tells you all you need to know about this, folks. Is that they want you to comply. And how they make you comply is, again, I go back to the libertarian paternalism, the Cass-Sunstein model. Nudge. First they ask, then they nudge, and then they start shooting. We're at the nudge part. Now, do I think that the WEF is a closeted organization bent on world domination? Yeah, I do. I really think they are. I really believe you and me, that these people want the worst for you. They want to control your lives. And if you don't comply, if you don't, bend over at the waist and give it to them, they're going to take it from you, whether you like it or not. And there's people out there right now in our own government, in our own society, in our own police force, that would basically put the boots to you if you dare come outside during a climate lockdown. And when are climate lockdowns happening? They've already talked about them doing it. This was just back in 2020. Just go on numerous websites out there and type in climate lockdowns and you'll get your answer. They don't want you to eat the bugs. They want you to voluntarily eat the bugs. And if you don't voluntarily eat the bugs, after the nudge comes you guessed it, the barrel of a rifle.